It's the Monday Game Chat with your host, Clive Illenden.
Yokoso, 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 arigato gozaimasu. Yes, welcome to the Monday Game Chat. You are indeed very, very welcome. As ever, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear what games you've been playing over the holidays or currently or the weekend, anything like that. Let me know what games you've been playing. Put it in the chat. I always like to kind of hear what games you've been playing. I can hear my voice going already because I don't do this much. I had a meeting this morning, so surely I should be used to talking on this mic. Maybe it's that late night exuberance with which I'm talking. Let's say hello to chat because I see some people are keen in there. Neil, as ever, lovely to see you, Neil. As ever, always very supportive. I hope you're well. I hope you're good. Shantae's Mutz Gaming, yeah. Sanchez MTZ Gaming. Good to see you. Yeah, look at that. It's amazing how that little emoji there is deadly accurate. That's all I'm going to say. Excuse me. Right. Games. Do you know what? We're going to be touching on this because there's some news about the game I'm about to talk about. But I jumped into a game I haven't played in a long time. A long time. I just, for some reason, I'm not sure why it was. Maybe it's something I saw on Twitter or Instagram or something like that. Jumped into a bit of Sea of Thieves. Haven't played Sea of Thieves. And that is in the news, the gaming news this week. In fact, today, lots of gaming news about Sea of Thieves. And we'll be talking about that. And I want to know your thoughts on it as well. Not the game, but the news, which I'll come to. But yeah, I just felt like strolling around, as it were, sailing around in the beautiful seas and sunset, digging up a few, treasure chests to pass the time of day. So I played that. I haven't played it in a long time. I didn't meet anybody, which is always quite nice when you just want to leisurely dig around. Although, of course, there is an option now that you can have your sort of own private server without any annoying pirates, which can be nice, but at the same time, it takes the spice out of the game. Even if it means running away, I still find that quite exciting in Sea of Thieves, or hiding, or trying to sort of trick people by jumping off my boat and letting it sail into the distance or whatever without any crew. Anyway, so I've been playing that. I've been playing a few meta games, actually, or experiencing the meta. You might have seen some of the videos on the channel, doing very well, actually. And I have some more meta videos coming up. But on that Sea of Thieves news, so rumour is this the one? Let me just check here. So there is a sort of a rumour going around that Sea of Thieves here. Jeff Grubb has heard that Sea of Thieves could come to PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch as part of Xbox future publishing strategy. Sea of Thieves, right, I'll say, I've heard that was one that might be coming to other platforms. Again, take all this with a pinch of salt. There has been, talk about bringing some Xbox games, certainly to Nintendo Switch. Hi-Fi Rush, apparently, has been rated in Australia for the Switch and PlayStation 4, rumour is. So, yeah. But it's interesting because it's all part of Phil Spencer's sort of bringing Xbox games to a wider platform. I mean, you think about it, there's history here. Minecraft, of course, famously one of the first cross-party games, cross-console games, cross-platform games, sorry. And maybe part of the reason it's one of the best-selling games of all time, because it is available on so many, platforms. And, a game like Sea of Thieves, why not? I mean, I get Hi-Fi Rush on Nintendo Switch. I think Hi-Fi Rush on Nintendo Switch would look quite good. But it's just very interesting. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Neil's been playing Baldur's Gate 3. Of course, you have Neil. Cloudbusters Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, and GeForce Now. I have some GeForce Now news, which is quite interesting, quite exciting. Good evening, Sednar. How are you? Like a Dragon Gaiden, Persona 5, Tactica. Very good. Asgard's Wrath 1 and 2. Yeah, so I need to get into Asgard's Wrath 2 on the old MetaQuest. Hi-Fi Rush on Switch will sell. I think you're right, Sanchez. There, I think it's a game that sort of feels almost like a Nintendo Switch game. It certainly lends itself to Nintendo Switch. I'd definitely say that. But it's interesting here. So this slightly more reliable source here, Stephen Totilio, and he's saying Xbox has considered bringing Sea of Thieves. Microsoft has looked into launching its hit free-to-play Xbox and PC multiplayer Pyra. Is it free-to-play? Is it free-to-play? I'm sure I had to buy it. Well, I didn't have to buy it. It was my first Xbox Game Pass game. It was their first big sort of major release that went straight to Xbox Game Pass, which is why I had Xbox Game Pass. And then 3 years later, still playing it. Or should I say, still paying it, Xbox Game Pass. A source familiar with plans for the port tells GameFile. While Microsoft has released some of its first-party published games on rival platforms, this would be the first time the company ports one of its marquee titles. I guess that's the key thing. It is a marquee title. But I'm up for it. I think, great. Especially a big multiplayer game like Sea of Thieves. The more, the merrier, as they say. I think that's not such a bad thing. Hey, Suarez number 2 there. Suarez, how are you? Evening all. Suarez MTZ says PS needs multiplayer games. Do you think it's free to play? It's free with Game Pass. That's what I'm saying. I remember thinking at the time, like I could pay 50 quid for this game that I was really looking forward to playing, or just get Xbox Game Pass for a month and try it out. And then, yeah, as I said, nearly 3 years later or whatever, I'm still paying Xbox Game Pass. Although, I've been quite lucky with a few codes recently that has got of given me an extra 3 months here, an extra 3 months. So I think for the last 4 or 5 months, I've not had to pay, which is quite nice. When you get those codes, when you buy a bit of tech or get sent a bit of tech, and it comes with a free Xbox Game Pass code. Yes, please. Ka-ching. I'll use some of that. In other news that I'd like to share with you, let's go a bit of NVIDIA news, ladies and gentlemen. So the big news with NVIDIA, yeah, free means $17 a month, exactly. Indeed, we're coming to that, Suarez. You're getting ahead of yourself there. Samsung bringing out a controller for the TV. Indeed, they are. What they're doing, and we'll come to it, but I'll touch on it, is they're sort of made for Samsung sort of stamp that I'll put on boxes, like a little label and stuff like that. But I've seen that, and we will come to that, Suarez. That is one of the news things. So this NVIDIA today had their sort of keynote speech at CES, and there was loads of announcements there. So for example, NVIDIA RTX Remix open beta is coming on January 22nd, enabling modders to remaster the classics with full ray tracing, NVIDIA DLSS, NVIDIA Reflex, modern PBR assets, and generative AI texture tools. So for example, there's I think there is launching soon the sort of remastered version of Tomb Raiders 1, 2, and 3. So what game would you like to see given the sort of RTX remix? What old game would you like to see given the sort of NVIDIA RTX remix treatment? Let us know in the chat. Then the other GeForce Now news, of course, which is slightly bigger, I'd like to share with you, ladies and gentlemen. As predicted, well, not really predicted, because we know they were coming, yeah? Because they said, following Call of Duty, the first Activision Blizzard game in the cloud, not even on the company that owns them, cloud service, yeah? Call of Duty Modern Warfare, not even on Xbox Game Pass, but it is on GeForce Now. So when they announced that, they said Activision Blizzard games, other Activision Blizzard games, would be coming to GeForce Now. And today we've discovered that Diablo 4, let's not get into the Diablo. You say Diablo, I say Diablo. Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2. I was a massive fan of Overwatch back in the day. I wasn't very good. Like, my kids started playing it at the same time as I did. And I remember when we went into competitive level, you know, to get ranked, like first time of trying, how old was he then? My 8-year-old son or whatever, probably 9 maybe. Let's think about this. Yeah, 8 or 9. Silver first time out, just short of gold. My daughter, who didn't play that very much, first time of asking, got ranked gold. Me, even though I played hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of it, bronze. Unbelievable, embarrassing. That moment, you know, that moment as a parent when your kid is better than you. I remember thrashing my little, when I played Mario Kart with my son when he was, 4 or 5, and he could hardly steer to save his life. And now he's top ranked on Fortnite, and him and his mates are top ranked on FIFA. They're like in a 3rd division of the Pro League, which doesn't sound much. I said to him, is it cross-platform? He said, yeah. They're in the 3rd division globally of the Pro League or something like that, which I think is quite significant. They've only been playing it like last 3-4 weeks. But anyway, there we go. So not only that, yeah, Activision Blizzard games coming. So it's a trickle, The Xbox games, we only had it started off as a trickle. And certainly the Xbox Game Pass games on NVIDIA GeForce Now started off as a trickle. It took a while for them to come. Where are the Xbox games? When they announced it, took a couple of months, didn't it? But by the end of last year, over 100 Xbox PC Game Pass games are on GeForce Now. Let alone the other Xbox Store games, but the Xbox PC Game Pass games. So that really kind of started coming along. So we can probably see the same with the Activision Blizzard games. But yeah, NVIDIA is bringing more games, membership options, which we'll come to. So the next Activision Blizzard titles to join are Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, which will be coming soon. They'll be joined by a host of top titles, including Capcom's Exoprimal. Sort of mixed reviews on Exoprimal. And Hoyo versus Honkai Star Rail and Mainframe's PAX Day. Or PAX Die. Yeah? And, more interestingly enough, available starting in February, new day passes for Ultimate and Priority memberships. So, if you just want to say, you don't, it's what, 20 quid a month for GeForce Now Ultimate, which is amazing. And they've made some improvements to it, which I'll come to, which make it even more amazing. But it is a lot of money. But maybe, say you just fancy a day of gaming on a top tier PC, yeah, or experiencing a specific game at a top level. with full ray tracing on, everything turned up to 11. You know what I mean, on the old graphics, which you can do on GeForce Now Ultimate with no noticeable latency or lag. Trust me. They've tested this out on gamers who didn't even realize they were playing, at this high graphical level, RTX, the works, games that they're used to playing on their own rig, didn't even know they're playing it on a hidden Chromebook. Yeah, I've seen the videos of it and stuff like that. So say, for instance, you fancy it, then now you can. You can just get a day pass, which I think is a great way to sort of, it's almost like pay as you go, isn't it? If you think about it, you get 24 hours. Let's get down to more detail on it. Available in early February, will give gamers a fast pass to try out premium membership benefits before committing to 1 or 6 month memberships that offer better value. The passes provide access to all the same features as Priority and Ultimate members for 24 hours. So for 24 hours, you get to experience the RTX on. Yeah, and your NVIDIA DLS 3.5, full ray tracing. If you just want to play a bit of Cyberpunk, it'll blow you away. Or even better, I'd argue, just in terms of wow experience, Alan Wake 2. I mean, Alan Wake 2 on GeForce Now Ultimate is chef's kiss. It is amazing. $7.99, which is a lot, and a priority day pass for $3.99. But for £8, it's a bit like in the UK. You can get Sky to watch the football. Yeah, but maybe you don't want Sky for a whole month. Maybe there's just one match. But I think they do a service called Now TV where you could just get it for a day. You're paying a bit extra, a bit through the nose and stuff. But maybe there's just that one match you want to watch. It's like premium content. But not only that, they're improving it as well. NVIDIA continues to push the boundaries for cloud gaming. The Ultimate membership tier introduced many cloud gaming firsts from 240 frames per second. So yes, anybody who's played Fortnite or even Call of Duty, competitive FPS, PvP on Ultimate knows it's very good. 240 frames per second to ultra-wide streaming. Streaming from GeForce RTX 4080 powered servers. Nearly identical to local gaming experience. It is not that far off. But coming soon with cloud G-Sync technology will raise the bar even further, minimizing stutter and latency with support for variable refresh rate monitors and fully optimized for G-Sync compatible monitors. So if you've got a G-Sync compatible monitor, you can now benefit from that if you're using GeForce Now Ultimate. And not just, not just a G-Sync compatible monitor. Any variable refresh rate monitors will benefit. So what you then get is obviously it will vary the display's refresh rates to match the streaming rate for the smoothest gameplay experience from the cloud. So it just makes the whole experience even more smooth. Ultimate members can also take advantage of expanded NVIDIA Reflex support in supported titles. Building off the 240 frames per second 1080p stream from last year, Ultimate members will soon be able to utilize Reflex in supported titles for up to 4K resolution and 60 or 120 frames per second streaming modes for low latency gaming on nearly any device. And the games that have NVIDIA Reflex, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Cyberpunk, Diablo 4, Overwatch 2, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Alan Wake. You're going to feel even more connected, but there's more. right? There's more, ladies and gentlemen. They're effectively turning your mobile phone into a gaming rig. How so, Clive? Well, mobile games will soon have the option to set streaming resolution to 1440p on Android devices, which is great if you've got a big old Android device, yeah, or something powered by Android device. But there's more to that. Providing richer graphics on larger screens, so members will be able to turn an Android device into a portable gaming rig with support for quad high definition resolution, yeah, as well as improved keyboard and mouse support. So you get keyboard and mouse support on your mobile phone. Why would you want to do that? Well, because with external displays connected to a mobile device using an SBC docking station, gamers can connect an Android phone to a 1080p or 1440p gaming monitor on TV with a keyboard, mouse, or gamepad. So effectively, you're turning this, yeah? You're turning this, you get a little docking station into a powerful gaming rig. So you know, if you're on holiday, so imagine if manufacturers start making little, I mean, you can already get them already, but nice little handy docks. You know, just take this and a controller with you. You don't even need a dock, really. You just need a USB-C to HDMI or something connector, or USB-C to USB-C if it's a sort of a Thunderbolt or something, to a monitor or to your, you know, maybe to your laptop. Well, if you've got your laptop, you might as well play. Anyway, to your hotel TV, yeah? Just another option. And there's even more news. Yes. For those of us that might want to go and live and retire in Japan. NVIDIA will now be operating GeForce Now in Japan in the spring alongside their alliance partner KDDI. Gamers in the region can look forward to Ultimate memberships for the first time. So they've not had the same level of quality. They've not had the option of Ultimate memberships, which maybe ties nicely in with games like Exoprimal, which I forgot to mention is another Capcom game. So we've seen a series of Capcom games recently, one of which I'll come to even more. We've got some news on Monster Hunter, but there was other Capcom games have come to GeForce Now. So that relationship seems to be blossoming. But also, of course, Astral Express. Yes, your Hontai, not your hentai. Although, looking at those pictures, yeah, Hontai I want to say hentai now. Hontai Star Rail coming just in time for its launch in Japan. So yeah, I would say it's all good stuff. I wish I could make these pictures a bit larger. Anyway, GeForce Now. So they're opening some servers along with their partner KDDI to basically offer the super pods. Now, the only fly in the ointment here is that GeForce Now also recently announced that Priority and Ultimate memberships were sold out in a number of territories. And this has happened a couple of times where they've made these announcements that they're no longer selling other than, 6 month or, 6 month memberships and stuff like that. I'll try and find the exact details for you, but it was recently announced. I'm just going to check my news. That they're selling out. So the next big question, I guess, is will they be bringing more servers or more capacity online? Let me just find the update. Yeah. So this was at the end of December, 29th of December. Due to increased demand, GeForce Now 1 month Ultimate. So 1 month Ultimate and Priority memberships are currently sold out in North America and Europe. So currently, you know, it's great. I think it's brilliant that they're bringing the day passes. Yeah. As a, you know, as a taster. Yeah. A little taster of what you might have. But then if you decide, oh, actually, I want to go ahead, the only options for you really are the 6 month options. And I guess from their point of view, it means if they can, you know, if they can force people to get the 6 month options, it means they can plan ahead and maybe build out that capacity. So it is a concern that recently, as I said, I mean, it's on one hand, it's good. You know, it's a sign of success, isn't it? That, you know, they're having to stop Ultimate and Priority memberships. But like with any business, it's that balance of selling out and maintaining supply, you know, keeping that demand and supply at the right kind of level. There is a wait list and stuff like that. But yeah, the 1 month memberships for Priority and Ultimate are sold out currently in North America and Europe. So it's great to see them bringing on these, you know, day passes and all these new games and stuff like that. But there is a big question, and people have pointed it out to me, you know, when I publish the news and this like that. What about capacity? So that is an issue. Let's see what you lot have been saying in the chat. Let me just, before I do that, let me just refresh the chat so we can all see it. Chat box. Bear with me, just doing a bit of behind the scenes refresh. Okay. Right, so your chat will disappear, but don't worry about it. Right. So let's see what you lot have been saying in the chat. Yeah. Oh, imagine. But in fairness, Stadia would have, you know, Google would have have to go some to really keep pace with what GeForce Now is doing. It's interesting because even without the competition, you know, GeForce Now really demonstrating and pushing the barriers of what's achievable in terms of cloud streaming and stuff like that. Ironically, it was only a year ago now success is measured into micro measurements, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, some slight miscalculation. Some people say it was the APK deal that scared Google out of gaming. Ironically, yeah, but who could foresee? It's interesting that Brad Smith, the head of Microsoft, recently said, you know, that actually he thought the UK's CMA decision was sort of fair. And despite at the time, you know, we all wanted to get the deal done, and we thought, you know, the UK CMA's decision to sort of hold up the Activision Blizzard deal was, you know, they would, when the EU didn't, and all of that was a pain in the butt. But actually, as consumers, I think we've benefited, haven't we? Yeah, we've certainly benefited with getting the games and Activision Blizzard games on, you know, GeForce Now before they even arrive, as I said, on Xbox Game Pass. It shows that actually the CMA UK's decision forcing Microsoft to address cloud gaming, from a sort of competition and markets point of view, was the right thing. I would argue is the right thing to do. I don't think it's held back. And I think even Brad Smith has admitted that actually it's probably the right thing. Both, you know, Ubisoft, GeForce Now, Boosteroid, all these people have benefited from this. And ultimately, us as consumers have benefited because, we get to play Call of Duty, Modern Warfare on GeForce Now Ultimate. Before it's even on Xbox Game Pass, as I said. So, yeah. Exactly, Neil. I think, you just feel like, oh, I'll treat myself. It's like that special thing. You think, oh, I fancy getting a day pass. And for $8, particular game you want to play, why not? I think that's a good thing. As I said, my only concern is with these big games, the impact. Is it a coincidence that Call of Duty Modern Warfare was available on GeForce Now and suddenly priority memberships, the monthly priority memberships and monthly ultimate memberships are sold out? Is there a correlation? Is it a combination? Is the popularity of GeForce Now like a J curve, just gone up even more? I mean, certainly, I do the GeForce Now news for you guys every Thursday. I deliver it, and sure, sometimes 200 people might have watched my video, my news roundup. Why do I bother? Well, because I enjoy it. But recently, actually, they've been doing okay for me, relative to me anyway. I think they've been doing all right. A few 600 views, 700 views for just gaming news about GeForce Now. That's all right. But when I did Call of Duty announcement, that did 1,500 views on the news. So that in itself is anecdotal evidence that the game or the interest in the game on GeForce Now was twice as popular, if not 3 times or 4 times as popular as my regular news. So it just goes to show how popular the fact that the game is on GeForce Now or coming to GeForce Now was. So has that had an impact on the fact that on the servers? I don't know. And, what is going to be the impact of Overwatch 2 and, Diablo 4 and all that kind of stuff? My fellow bots concerned Hi-Fi Rush is coming to Nintendo. They're stuck with this console war crap. Yeah. Look, I'm all for it. Why not? Like, if you have a big... I think you can be strategic. If you've got a massive multiplayer game, maybe you want a multiplayer game. Maybe you want to get to many people. You want as many people playing it as possible. Yeah, it's going to bring income to you. Yeah, it'll bring income to PlayStation, of course. I'm talking Xbox first party title, whatever. Yeah, you want as many people playing it. You're going to make if PlayStation outsell you console wise, 3-1 or something, or twice as many. Then why would you leave that market for certain multiplayer games? I mean, the multiplayer FPS that Sony is developing is coming to all platforms because you want as many people as possible playing it, so they pay for the loot boxes and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. The single player games, which PlayStation tend to specialize in, you kind of get. You want them to be exclusive. You want the demand to be exclusive to your platform, to make your platform stand out and be special. Multiplayer game, like as Minecraft has proven, as certainly as Fortnite has proven, get that on as many platforms available as possible, and you get gazillions and gazillions of players. G-Sync in cloud would be good. 44p is Android as well. I hope it comes to Shield. That's a good point, Cloudbusters, actually, because Shield is sort of runs on a sort of forked Android of some sort, doesn't it? I'm sure it does. So actually, that would be good. That's and that's maybe what's held the Shield back. More Reflex games is good as well. I hope they bring record streaming capability to Android Chrome OS. It's on Shield and Windows. They're not messing about. GFN certainly. Will GFN come to Quest 3? That's interesting question, Sanchez MTZ. because I was going to try it in the browser. Have you tried it in the browser? I haven't fully tried out the browser on MetaQuest. And I'm curious. I should do a video on it if it works. I'm not going to do a video on if it doesn't work. And just play GFN in the browser. Would it work? Don't know. Yeah. You know, Stadia finally closed down, was it? This time, was it on the 16th of January, was it? A year ago? Next week? Still got all these bloody controllers. And of course, if you haven't converted your controller to Bluetooth, if you didn't already know, originally the time to do that was going to be the end of December, but it still is the end of December, except the end of December this year, 2024. I don't know whether to unbox. I've got I've got two unboxed ones. Should I unbox them? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 controllers unboxed. What have I got? 5 Stadia controllers unboxed. Should go really Founders Edition. And 2 unboxed. Should I unbox them just so I've got... I don't know. They don't always work, though, I always find. Even with the Bluetooth. I sometimes have problems. But yeah, it still hurts. Ah, the Horizon MMO, yes. Right, back to the news, ladies and gentlemen, because we've got more news. But anyway, that's pretty big GeForce Now news, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you think? Don't you agree? Let me know your thoughts down below and all of that. So, yes, as touched on by one of the Sanchez's, by Francisco Suarez, not the Sanchez, the Suarez, yes. Samsung. Of course, Samsung are getting some Xbox gaming rights, of course. But look, if you've got a Samsung gaming hub, a Samsung TV that has the Samsung gaming hub, they've got their own branded controller. Now, I'm not sure it does anything extra special. It doesn't connect with the cloud via Wi-Fi or anything like that. And it's from PDP Gaming, who I'm presuming are, licensed headsets, controllers, accessories. But basically, level up your gaming with the Replay Midnight Blue controller. It looks quite a nice controller, actually. Let's see. Is it? I just want to... There we are. Freeze it there. Yeah. It's Xbox style. It's much closer to... Actually, look at it. Yeah. That is your Xbox current gen controller. And that, on the screen, is a Samsung controller. So you can see what they based it on, as opposed to, say, like, the old Stadia controller. You can see what they based it on there, the offset joysticks, as it were. But yeah. So I don't think it doesn't do anything extra special. As I said, it connects via Bluetooth, so no sort of Wi-Fi connection or something. You'd have to connect with a specific cloud gaming service Wi-Fi thing. So, like Stadia did. That's the great thing about the Stadia controller. It really made a difference because depending on the nature of the Bluetooth that you're using, it can either be really good with a controller, be really good, or there can be a bit of noticeable delay. And if there is any latency lag, like I always say about latency and lag in cloud gaming, and which made Stadia great, and it was partly a controller, is that you have loads of things in a chain that's happening. And what Google realized when they were doing Stadia is where could they take things out of that latency chain? Yeah. Where can they shorten that out? Because you've got latency in your monitors. Yeah, you got latency in your TV. A lot of people play, their consoles on their TV and they haven't put it on the gaming mode. Maybe their TV doesn't even have a gaming mode. And that's adding, 20, 30, 40 sometimes, milliseconds of lag. So there's a chain. And if you can eradicate some of that, and the great thing about the Stadia controller is that it chose not to use Bluetooth originally because it used Wi-Fi to connect directly with the game in the cloud, rather than go from here through your TV or your device that you're using, then to the cloud, then back to your device that you're using, then back to your controller. Yeah, they took out that middleman, of the screen or whatever, or the device that we're using, and communicated directly with the game in the cloud. And again, it's just reducing that latency and lag. And to me, when you're playing cloud gaming, if you're below a certain level, you don't notice it. You don't notice it, right? Low latency and lag, you don't. On GeForce Now Ultimate, I don't ever notice it. Yeah, unless my broadband goes or something like that. But I don't notice it. But when you start to add latency, there comes a point where it's like the uncanny valley kind of thing, where it just feels a bit off. Like I was playing Xbox Game Pass in the Meta Quest 3, and it just added a little bit. And so the delay on playing on the Xbox Game Pass games in my Meta Quest 3 was just like slightly more than if I'm playing it even, xCloud via my computer or something. It was, and that little tiny difference, it crossed that line where it just made it slightly less comfortable, Anyway, I digress. I think it looks it's just a proprietary. At the end of the day, it's a proprietary. As far as I can see, it's just a proprietary. Although look, they've got a volume button there. Quick mute. That's interesting. A quick mute button. How would that work if you're in the middle of a game? Anyway, as far as I can see, it's just a proprietary controller, but Samsung have teamed up with the company that makes it. Let's see what again, this was a CES. Building our already high level of compatibility, the designed for gaming hub program. So this is not just, it's not going to be limited to the controller. They're going to have a number of devices with this little logo. This is just the first. Yeah, so if you're a controller manufacturer, you could probably approach Samsung and say, if you're Turtle Beach, if they feel there's a market, you've got to think about Samsung TVs and LG TVs to a certain degree as consoles. Yeah? Then you think about the number of Samsung TVs that are sold every year. You're basically selling a gaming console with the gaming hub where you can play GeForce Now, you can play Xbox, xCloud games, yeah? And they sell these Samsung TVs and they sell these LG TVs. They're the biggest TV manufacturers producers, certainly outside of China, the biggest ones that are sold in the world, yeah? They own the television market, most of it, LG and Samsung. So if you are a manufacturer of gaming accessories like Turtle Beach or something like that, then it opens up another market for you. You could just go to Samsung and say, hi, Samsung, we'd want to do a branded Samsung, design for Samsung Gaming Hub controller. Fair enough. Building our already high level of compatibility, the design for Samsung Gaming Hub program will see us collaborating with trusted partners to craft accessories that further enhance the premier experience of Samsung Gaming Hub. Maybe you can put in like here, I imagine this switch here at the top automatically takes you to the Samsung Gaming Hub UI. Players will see the design for Samsung Gaming Hub badge, which designates that it has been tested for compatibility, quality, performance, safety, and security. And the first one is PDP's new wireless controller, the Replay Midnight Blue. Wait a minute. Midnight Blue? Midnight Blue? Wasn't the Stadia founders? I love the orange on here. Wasn't this Midnight Blue? It's just a nice colour. Or Midnight, wasn't it called Midnight? Maybe not Midnight Blue. Now look at it. Now I've got blue lights on. It was Midnight. I'm sure it was Midnight colour, wasn't it? The Founders Edition, the Samsung Stadia, Samsung Stadia, the Stadia controller. But there you go. I just saw a comment then. Yeah, it looks like the Amazon Luna controller now. You come to mention it, but you're right. Wi-Fi controllers helps a lot, big time. Exactly. xCloud on Quest 3 is laggy for me. That's what I found, not just me. Now, at the time, I thought it was because my daughter was back from university and she was, on her, streaming games or whatever, or streaming Netflix, and my son was playing, FIFA with all his mates, and I was trying to test it out. And I've usually test these things out with nobody in the house. It's quite cool. So it's interesting. I just thought maybe it was that. But yeah, it certainly is it's noticeably more laggy. It's still fun, but I just have to be a bit more selective. Now, I could play, Halo on my PC via the cloud or whatever, and it's okay, it's fine. But definitely I noticed it via the MetaQuest, definitely. The Nvidia Shield in China used to have the ability to play Wii games in their store. Good old China. I wonder if Samsung have to pay royalties to Microsoft for that controller. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, can you get really a patent? I mean, can you really patent the fact that where everything is? I don't know. But yeah, very similar. But it does look like the is the Amazon Luna one more like with the joysticks, sort of what's the word? Basically like that, and not at an angle. Can't remember. Does it have Hall effect stick? No idea what the sticks are on it. It's a generic controller, really, as I said. So would probably compatible with PCs. It just has this. Oh, clearly, I think what they've done is with that little button at the top. There. It probably takes you straight to, as I said, takes you straight to the gaming hub, I imagine. I wonder if Luna will make any moves this year. Yeah. Luna's just, I don't know, they're just sort of toddling along, aren't they? They're not really doing anything. Arguably, but they're a bit like, I'd say, where Stadia was. Add a few games here and there. And if you're into Amazon Luna, as many of us were into Stadia, we got super excited every month when new games were added. Didn't matter what they were usually fun and interesting, and there was always something, and it felt like, we had a community there, and so we celebrated the monthly games and all of that, or any big, oh my God, FIFA's coming, and, But I guess if you take outside that bubble, unless you're in the bubble, it didn't seem particularly exciting. And I'm not in the Amazon Luna bubble. I mean, I think it, I've tested it. I reviewed it on this channel. I think it's great. A Stadia-like experience to a certain degree. Really good. The Amazon Basics version of Stadia. Nothing wrong in that. It's how I used to think about it, but it was all right. But yeah, no big, but it's sort of just toddling along, isn't it? I think. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that one. So Samsung there, flexing their muscles. Just some more news. Star Wars Outlaws release window confirmed, apparently according to Insider Gaming. Disney has confirmed the release windows for Star Wars Outlaws, according to a blog post via the Disney Parks website, set to release in late 2024. So, yeah, autumn or fall, I imagine, if that is the case. It's going to get kicked back, isn't it? Delayed, surely. From massive entertainment, a lot of people looking forward to, the game, but you could be seeing it by the end of the year. Basically, Far Cry. It'll be like a Far Cry in Star Wars. Who knows? Anyway. It looks like they're lining up for fall this year, which would be interesting. Available Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5 and PC. Looking forward to that one. Interestingly, talking about value for gaming here. So, apparently, Xbox Game Pass added nearly $9,000 worth of games in 2023. So it says here it's been a hell of a year for Xbox certainly because they purchased Activision Blizzard and Starfield, to be honest, which I thought was great. Nowhere's been more obvious than Xbox Game Pass. But just how much value are you getting for your money and the service? After all, the prices went up in August. Phil Spencer's warned that future prices are inevitable. I'm seeing it in so many subscription services, not just gaming services, but other services. According to our data, the total value of all the games that were added to Game Pass at their full price, but even at their full price, basically $8,763 in the US. That's pretty impressive when you put it in that context. And when you've got like big hitters like Starfield, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Redfall. But they were a big anticipated games, whatever you think of Redfall. I mean, a Hi-Fi Rush wasn't anticipated. It was just shadow dropped on us and turned out great. Redfall was highly anticipated and then ended up being a bit disappointing. Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Raised His Name, Atomic Heart, Dead Space, Remnant 2. All big hitters. £8,000 worth of value. Not bad when you think about it in that context. I mean, sure, you're not going to spend that amount of money on games, and not all the games on there you're going to necessarily want to play. So one could put, one needs to put that value in context. Like anything in life, it's only a value if you want what's on offer. If what's on offer is you don't want, then there is no value to it to you. But you got to, you telling me if you are an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, out of that $8,763 worth of value, you have not, got several $100 worth of value out of that. I mean, how much would you've had to, if you're going to buy Starfield or whatever, hours of stuff. It's just nice to have. It is a nice to have. Like any subscription service, ultimately, is a nice to have, isn't it? And that's, as their prices go up, you question. I've got so many subscription services, and it's hard to, get rid of them. Talking of which, actually, what I ought to do, he said, is where's the button? I'm looking for a button here. I want to treat you guys. And we've got a special treat out there for you guys. Anyway, for being wonderful people. If you're not members already, why not? Yeah, it seems like Luna is struggling for people that casually game. Exactly. We're going to get all these memberships now because I've handed out some. I really want to see Cloud Direct controller and 4K res for Xbox Game Plus. Yeah, I can't see. Do you know what I mean? That would be a good... I think that... I talked about that kind of... that there's a kind of point which below... I don't really notice the lag or latency in cloud gaming. And if you're well below that, like you are... Look, I've said it before. GeForce Now Ultimate, they've tested it and proved that the latency is less than playing natively on some games. They proved it and tested it. It is extraordinary. But Xbox is closer to that line, I'd say. Look at these memberships. Woo! See, I'm gifting them. It's closer to that. It's that mark of acceptability. But you know what would pull it under it, or take it away, or improve that experience, as Suarez says there. If Xbox, since they control the servers as well, if they made your controller, trouble is you'd need this doesn't have it in it. The thing about the Stadia controller, it had the Wi-Fi thing built in. I don't suppose this has got it built in. But if they did a controller specifically aimed at cloud gaming, with the Wi-Fi sort of device built in so that you could communicate directly with the game, I think it would dramatically improve the xCloud experience. But I'm not sure how committed Xbox is to competing with GeForce Now at the moment, and especially with all these Xbox games coming out, or the Xbox PC games coming out on GeForce Now. But I think that would be a good thing if they could pull it off, but they would need to create a controller specifically for it. And that's a big commitment, isn't it? And that's a real saying, we're going on a big push on cloud gaming, and we're improving the servers, we're improving the image quality and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to bring out a controller as well. That would be them having to really get behind it, in my opinion. And just finally on the old Xbox news, just on the Game Pass games this month, talking of Game Pass and Game Pass value, this month sees, look at that, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I completely forgot about. I should, on PC as well. Presumably, this will be a game, let's just move my head. Oh, I can't move my head. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, presumably that will come to GeForce Now as an Xbox Game Pass title. Ubisoft have the cloud gaming rights. Resident Evil 2, and what I downloaded actually last night, I haven't played it yet, But I've so wanted to play this on GeForce Now. It keeps coming. I see it on my GeForce Now library, but I don't have it. I don't own it. Hell Let Loose. If this comes to GeForce Now as an Xbox PC game, I'm definitely down for that. I've downloaded it onto my Xbox Series X because I want to give it a go. I've always been intrigued by this game ever since it launched. Those Who Remain, We Happy Few. I don't know. Initially I liked We Happy Few. It was a quirky old game. But yeah, these are all available. Cloud console, PC, cloud console, PC, they're all cloud, PC, Xbox Series XS only. That's fine. I've got an Xbox Series X. But yeah, I never played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, so now perhaps it's the chance for me to dive into it now. It's ironically enough on Xbox. But anyway, so you've got Hell Let Loose, Close to the Sun, Hell Let Loose, as I say, which is a game I want to jump into. It's an ever-expanding hardcore first-person shooter. Why do I want to put myself through that? I'm just curious. Join other players online in epic 100-player battles across huge-scale maps. So sort of World War II Battle Royale. I think. Oh no, working as a team is a matter of life and death, and the right or wrong decision can turn the tide of the battle. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Figment, which is great, Super Mega Ball Baseball 4, We Happy Few, quirky. I thought so. I'd played it before, so I knew it must have been in the Game Pass library before. Yeah, in a kind of alternative 60s in England. It's quite quirky, but I just got a bit bored of it. Resident Evil 2, with new visuals, modern gameplay mechanics, and over-the-shoulder perspective. Maybe I should give that a game, actually. I love it. Bit of over-the-shoulder perspective. And Those Who Remain, which is quite good. Oh, and a Sea of Thieves Parrot Pack. And of course, leaving Grand Theft Auto 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 is like in and out, isn't it? MotoGP 22. Because when it leaves the ones that, that are available via GeForce Now as well. Persona 4 Golden, Persona 3 Portable. But there we are. They are the Xbox titles for this month. Well, there you go. The clock does come around. I hope those that got memberships appreciate it. Those lucky enough, I say lucky, you be the judge. Got a copy of... I gave a copy of my book away to my members. One of the books that I wrote. The one that I think is more... Yeah, one of the books I wrote anyway. On Kaizen. The Japanese philosophy of incremental steps. You challenge, you've got a big challenge in front of you. Don't be overwhelmed by it. 1,000-mile journey starts with the very first step, as Xiang, whoever said. Yeah. Anyway, I gave that book to all my members last month, and a little special end of year video as well. That's the sort of what you get. You don't get a lot. You're not really selling it, but the point is, it's appreciated because it's a way of supporting the channel. So there we go. So all those that have got memberships, I hope you appreciate it, and I will try to provide extra content just for you guys. But there we go. Game Pass is growing. I wonder if Xbox will subcontract that cloud aspect to GFN rather than upgrade. Yeah. Solve the keyboard and yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? It might be an interesting move. I mean, on one hand, it's interesting. Ironically enough, would it be anti-competitive if GeForce Now got the exclusive, xCloud rights above Xbox. I don't know. You'd argue it's you'd be hard pushed to say that's anti-competitive. Actually, maybe some partner. I mean, they have a sort of partnership, but maybe it will just evolve over time, where just more and more games, because Xbox are keen to make sure that every game that is available on Xbox Game Pass is available in the cloud, on PC. So it's not just the console version, but the PC version. That's the main difference between the games that come to GeForce Now. But yeah, it's a great way. If the game comes out on PC, then, it'd be great where they just automatically... I'd love to get to that stage where they just automatically just come to GeForce Now. And there's always going to be a bit of a lag, not in game playing, but like the time the game is announced or comes to Xbox Game Pass. But not always. We've had some day and dates. So yeah, it'd be nice to see the games just automatically end up on GeForce Now. And then over time, maybe that's the route. Xbox go, well, we'll continue to support the console version in the cloud, because that's no-brainer, really, if you've got the server space, but not really develop it anymore, and just let our games, the PC versions of the games, be available on GeForce Now. Who knows? Anyway, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me tonight. Really, really appreciate it. As I said, we'll be here same time, same place next week on the Monday Game Chat, 10 p.m. every Monday. If you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and that way you'll know when I go live with the Monday Game Chat. Plus, you'll stay up to date with all the GeForce Now news every GeForce Now Thursday. Of course, I try to get the news out to you as soon as the embargo on that news is lifted. So you get all of that, of course. And and there'll be loads of new announcements, hopefully some more gaming announcements that sort of come out of CES over the next week. There's an actual Samsung presentation going on right now, which I'm going to be catching up on after this. So have a wonderful, wonderful week. If you're back to work like me, I hope it's not too crazy for you. And as ever, arigato gozaimasu. Janai! Out.
Thanks for watching the Monday Game Chat with your host, Clive Illenden. Don't forget to hit the likes, subscribe, and consider becoming a member. Hit the join button today.